Man is back.
Oh, again, Jay, boys, done it again. Oh my gosh, the ring got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered. Something is true, something but oh, look at that, my God.
This is your boy.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash the True Inferno. And we are back with another Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay. So, as promised, I am picking up where I left off last week, as I will give you guys my top 10 anime shows that should have at least one more season or movie or something. And we're going to start off with number 3 on this list and move on from there all the way up to number 1 and honorable mentions. So let's get things going with number 3, Baka and Test. This is one of my all-time favorite animes because it is flat out hilarious and I like the story. I really like the story. I find myself watching bits and pieces of this show over the past few weeks, and one of these days I'm gonna rewatch it from start to finish. It is that great of a show. So basically, here's the plot. Ooh, this is a long plot. The story centers around a boy named Akihashi Yoshi. I don't know, I pronounced this right, so I'm not gonna pronounce it. Basically, the idiot of the story. He attends Fumizuki Academy in Japan, a school where the staff rigidly divides the students based on the results of their academic scores. At the start of the school, students are academically sorted by entrance exam test grades. The higher the grades, the higher the class, and the better the benefits. In this case, Class A is filled with the highest scoring students. Therefore, this classroom is filled with many prestigious items: air conditioners, fancy seats, laptops, a free snack bar, etc. And then if you go down the list all the way down to Class AF, is the complete opposite of that, representing the bottom of the barrel. You know, such as items such as mats and low wooden tables. The story also loosely involved around the love triangle consisting of Mizuki Himiji, who is an intelligent girl who was forced into Class F just because of a fever, Minami Samada, a transfer student from Germany who struggles with kanji, and Akihashi, who is both of their crush. And keep in mind, he have a crush on Himiji as well. So, this academy have a special system whereby all the students are able to call for summoned beings. Basically, these beings are used for battles between classes with the goal of capturing or retaining the best classroom facilities. Since Class A is filled with prodigies, they all have strong summoned beings, while Class F have drastically weak ones in comparison. A teacher must authorize/supervise each battle, and the health and strength of each student's summoned being is based on their last, can we call them avatars, is based on their last test score in that teacher's subject, for example, math, history, etc. The avatar loses point when struck by an opponent, and should their point count reach 0, that avatar and student are disqualified and must take supplementary lessons with the strict teacher, Sochi Nishimura, nicknamed Iron Man. However, if the student can leave the battle before reaching 0, these points can be replenished by taking a supplementary exam. The student's avatar may then return to battle. On the day of the placement test, like I said, Mizuki suffers from a fever during the test and is unable to complete it. Hence she got a score of 0. As a result, she is basically stuck in Class F together with Akihashi, who dreams of the day where the academy will no longer be divided by grades, pitched an idea to his class to rule over the higher level classes by conducting a summoner war for both Mizuki's sake and to get more privileges. Aside from Mizuki, who happens to be the second ranked student in year 2, there's also the class representative Yuji. And you got the Bishonen, Hideyoshi, the perverted coder, aka silent ninja pervert, and Minami, obviously. Akihashi claims she's his worst enemy, but actually has a crush on him, and is reluctant to show it, like I said already. So yeah, basically that's the story of this drawing. So yeah, it's basically a case of slice life. A little bit of a harrow, but it's a very great story. Very great story, and you could say this show did indeed end on a cliffhanger. The last episode was shown in 2011 because the main issue here is, who did he choose? Did he choose Himichi or Minami? So yeah, that's the question here. And also, you want to know, like they didn't. It's not like they graduated or they moved up to being third year students, or are they first year? I think they're first year. Yeah, they're first year. Like they didn't move up from first year to second year or anything like that. So it's like, what happened? Like I want to know more. Like what happened? Not to mention, I want to know who did he pick to hook up with between those two girls. So there's that. And it's just downright hilarious. It's like one of the best animes I've ever seen. If you haven't seen Baka Test, I recommend you watch it without question. Whether it's sub or dub, I don't care. You need to watch it, man, without question. All right, let's move on to number 2. Number 2, Nisekoi. So Nisekoi, also known as False Love. We're going to go with that. So this one, is another crazy one right here. So this joint follow high school students. Raikou is the son of a leader in the Yakuza faction, and Chitoge, who is the daughter of a boss in a rival gang known as Beehive. They unexpectedly meet when Tote hops a wall and knees Raikou in the face. After she runs off, Raikou realized he lost his locket, which was given to him by his childhood sweetheart, with whom he made a secret promise. So here's the deal with the secret promise. This thing is going to be like hubbub throughout the entire show. So the secret promise was this. A long time ago, Raikou met this girl, and these two made a promise. So she gave him a locket, and she kept the key to this locket. So, knowing that, let's continue. After discovering Toge is a new transfer student in his class, he forces her to help him look for the locket. During the search, they begin to dislike each other. Upon returning home, Raikou learns that his father's group and Beehive gangs have agreed to settle their feud by pairing their leader's children. Raikou learns that his girlfriend-to-be is none other than Chitoge. For the next 3 years, they must pretend to be in a relationship to maintain peace between the gangs. This turned out to be quite a challenging task, not only because of their hatred for one another, but also because Raikou had a crush on another schoolmate, Kosaki Onodora, we can call her Kosaki, who he secretly wishes was the girl who bears the key to his locket. So there's a number of these girls who have keys and claim to be the girl that he made that promise with. Various developments complicates the situation, including Chitoge's overprotective bodyguard, a female hitman, who is a girl who claims to be Raikou's no, wait a minute, let me try that again. So one of the developments is Chitoge's overprotective bodyguard, who is a female, overprotective bodyguard, who is a guy member of her gang or whatever. A female hitman, who is another chick that is really close friends with Chitoge. Another girl who claims to be Raikou's fiance and who also have a key, and who happens to be the daughter of the police chief, and the existence of multiple keys, like I said. So let's see. And then this part right here, Yuri, the newly appointed head of the yeah. So yeah, this part is manga. So this Yuri chick is manga. We haven't seen an anime yet. So, but as the anime goes on, Chitoge actually starts to fall for Raikou, and Raikou slowly starts to fall for her as well, but still maintain her love for Kosaki. So again, here's who all got keys. Chitoge got a key. Kosaki got a key. A girl who claims to be Raikou's fiance, the daughter of the police chief, she got a key. So there's 3 girls throughout the show who have keys. Another girl will show up in the manga. She have a key. So at least, as far as I know, at least 4 girls will have keys. But in the anime, only 3 of these girls have keys. And then even though these 3 girls have keys, more girls show up and have a crush on them. Like for example, the female hitman have a crush on them. Kosaki's younger sister have a crush on them. So it's really out of control, man. It's really out of control. Unfortunately, it ended with some OVA episodes back in 2015. There's no word of a new season. Now I do know how this ends because I recently read. I'm like, oh, let me see how this ends. So the manga recently ended, or ended a while back, I think. I think it ended back in 2016. But I know how this ends. I know who is the girl he made a promise with, and I know who he hooks up with. I'm not gonna reveal who it is or anything like that. But this is a great show. I wish it would have continued on in the anime, So yeah, there you go with that. Now, before I reveal my number one, and number one probably obvious to most of you guys if you're like in the anime world, but let me give you guys my honorable mentions. Love Lab. Love Lab is a good show. It was really hilarious. Although I like how it ended, and I'm satisfied with how it ended. It didn't end in any cliffhanger or anything like that. It's a basic slice of everyday life. And I wish they would continue it because it's just flat out hilarious. Kiniro Mosaic. How you pronounce that joint? This is another one. Again, they could continue this one. There's a little bit there's like little tiny cliffhangers here. Because this show is about like 5 girls, but 2 of them have crushes on the other 2. And I'm like, will they hook up? Like, what's gonna happen here? So, little bit of a cliffhanger, but nothing serious. Moving on. My Buddha. My Buddha is flat out hilarious. It ends a little bit on the cliffhanger because I want to see who the main, and if you would have started the show, you would think this would be a Tenchi Muyo knockoff, but this one's just like more freaky than Tenchi Muyo and more hilarious. So I'm kind of curious to see who does the main character hook up with. Although, like, for the most part, we kind of know who, but the question is, how does it happen, or does it happen at all? So, little bit of a cliffhanger here, but it's mostly hilarious. Nothing serious about that one. Student Council Discretion. This one quickly became one of my all-time favorite animes. It is flat out hilarious. There was only 2 seasons of this, and the main objective of the main character is to have a harem with everybody within the student council. It's just him. He's the only guy in there, and the other 4 individuals in there are all girls, and he have a crush on all of them. So instead of him trying to figure out who should he hook up with, he's just like, no, I want to hook up with all of y'all. I want to have a harem with y'all. And the reason why I put that on this list is because there's an interesting dynamic here, because within the student council, he is the only one, like once the new school term comes, he'll be the only one left, like from the original student council. So everybody else will be brand new. What I mean by that is this: 2 of the girls are seniors, so they will be graduating, and the other 2 girls, once this current term is over, they moving, they going to another school. So he'll be left behind. So the dynamic here is, does he maintain his relationship with these 4 girls? How did he pull that off? Because 2 of them will be going to college. The other 2 will be going somewhere else to attend school. So what? And then or does he replace them with the new student council? Or whatever the case may be. Like, the story continues, but it's very interesting to see what happened in the manga. I mean, the anime, excuse me. Engaged to the unidentified. So how this joint ended, again, it did not end on a cliffhanger, anything like that. But the reason why I put this here, because it is hilarious. It's another funny show. I really like this one. I will watch this again. Really like this show. It's about the main character, who's a girl who is forced to be engaged to a member of a wolf tribe. Like, there's one guy who can literally become a wolf. I crap you not. So her fiance, his little sister, all live in the same house with the main character, her older sister, and her mom. It's crazy. And they all 4 of them go to the same school. So yeah, it's very crazy. It's very crazy. And I wish they would continue more of that. They can too. They could too. They want to. Weekend. Weekend is an anime about the main character, who's a girl who can see spirits. He had the power to see spirits. He got that from her mom, who unfortunately died. And it's crazy. Now, the reason I like this, is very hilarious, but there is a bit of a cliffhanger here, because there's another girl here who have a crush on her. So I'm like, do they hook up? I would like to see them hook up, to be honest. So there you go with that. Moving on. Rosario Vampire. So a number of American fans want to see this continue. They have a very good story, especially season 1. Season 2 story was okay, but season 1 story was really good. The thing that messed up season 2 was they added these songs in the middle of the episodes, like it's Sonic Underground or something. But aside from that, this was a very good anime. And the manga continue on. And the manga, based on where I read, like the summary, like it's really good. It's really, really good. And I was hoping that they would bring that over to the anime, but I highly doubt it. Next up, I'm gonna butcher this name wrong. Chandere Children, how you pronounce that name? Chandere, how you pronounce that joint? So basically, this is the everyday lives of a bunch of students going to the same school. Now, the reason why I put this on the list is because of how this ended. And this is like one of the newest ones. This one came out last year. The season ended, or the show ended, when all of us saying, hey, it's summer break. Let's all go to the beach. And we never got the beach episode. So I'm like, I want the beach episode. I want to see what happens at the beach. So that's why I put that right there. My teen romantic comedy, Snafu. So yeah, this one is a good one right here. There's only 2 seasons of this one. And the light novels are being released to this day. And it's possible that a season 3 could drop because I want to, like, hit the deal. Like, the main characters are basically the 3 members of the Service Club. One is a guy who is the overall main character. The other 2 are females who both have a crush on him. So my question is, what happens with that? Will one of them hook up with the other? All right, well, you know, will one of the 2 girls hook up with them? And if that happens, what happens to the other girl? Like, you know, what happens there? So a few cliffhangers there, but it's very good. It's a very good show. My mental choices are completely interfering with my school. This is a very interesting anime right here because the main character is suffering from a disease where I guess we could say, quote unquote, God. There's like 2 or 3 gods in this joint, but I think this is the second god or third god. No, this is the second god. This is the second god who gives the main character a headache and then will force the main character to make a decision. And these decisions are out of control. Like, for example, you're the main character, you get a headache. So then, and nobody else can see these choices but you. So these words will appear right in front of you. Nobody else can see them. They will appear right in front of you. And it'll say either strip naked, run around the class, or go up to your teacher and grab her ass. you got to pick one of the 2. Otherwise, you'll get this incredibly painful headache. It is out of control. But yet, the reason why I put this on this list is because 1, it's hilarious, and 2, it ends on a cliffhanger because there's 3 girls here who have a crush on the main character. Now, even though he does not choose, like, even though, like, and then there's still other cliffhangers, like there's mysterious characters involved, like, who could be involved with whoever is sending him these questions, like, who are sending him these questions and things of that nature. And like the last question that was offered to him was, you got 3 options. Either you hook up with that chick, or that chick. I'm like, and he don't pick either one of them. So I'm like, what? Like, that's stupid. Like, he should have picked one of them. I mean, it's a hard choice, but come on, man. But yeah, it's crazy. But I would like to see who he ends up with. I don't know what happens here at the end, but I would like to see who he ends up with. Magic Kaito 1412. So basically, this is the spinoff of Case Closed, aka Detective Conan. So this is about Kaito Kid, the Phantom Thief Kid. So basically, his father, quote unquote, died from a mysterious organization, not this organization 13. No, wait a minute, let me phrase that. Not the black organization that Conan have to deal with. No, this is a completely different organization. Not as dangerous as that one, but they still dangerous in their own right. But apparently his father survived, and that's how this show ends. I'm like, was that really his father? Then where did he go and what happens? Things of that nature. Obviously, Case Closed is still going on to this day. Unfortunately, I wish they would end that. Like, give us a proper ending. But I would not mind seeing this show continue as well. And then the last honorable mention is Saki. Saki is basically focused on a board game, but with high schoolers. Now, here's the problem with Saki. The problem with Saki is this. They end on the biggest cliffhanger of everybody, of all these shows on the honorable mention list. Actually, I missed one. I'm going to cover that in a second. And that is this. Like, there's a tournament going on. And you got the main characters from the main show advancing on this tournament. They going really far in this tournament. But then they got a spinoff that focus on other characters from another high school, and they take part in the same tournament, and they advance really far. So you got these 2 teams based on the main show and the spinoff advancing far, and we don't know how it ends. Like, they just stopped with that. And now they did come out with a OVA, a Saki Biyori OVA, which had nothing to do with the tournament. But again, they just left us, and then they came out with a live action movie, but I didn't see it. I don't know how that ends, but anime wise, we focus on anime. They just left us on a major cliffhanger. I'm like, you cannot do that. And then the last one is Puella Magic Madoka Magica. So here's the deal with this one. So if you've seen the anime, it got a good ending, okay? But then they came out with the 3rd movie. Now, the first 2 movies was basically them retelling the anime. But the third movie continues from the anime, and it ended with the second main character tricking, and basically let me tell you how the anime ended. The main character basically became a god. So in this case, you got all these magical girls, and when a magical girl dies, she become a witch, which are like the main villains of the whole show, and they'll terrorize people and kill the people, things of that nature. So the main character sacrificed herself to become a god, and rewrites history where if a magical girl dies, she don't become a witch. Instead, she gets basically taken to heaven, and there's no such thing as witches. But in the process, the main character cannot exist within, you know, the human world, and nobody remembers her with the exception of this secondary main character. So she came up with this plan to become a god herself and rewrites history again. So she brings the main character back from godlyhood, rewrites her memory, rewrites everybody's memory, and make everybody live a normal life. There's still no witches, but it's different. But again, she's the only one with these powers. However, here's the reason why I put this show on this list.
Is everybody okay?
And it was hitting at the end of this movie. The main character will eventually remember. She will remember who she really is. She will remember that she got all these powers, and she will remember that she's basically a god. And the secondary main character was like, you know what? That will happen. And when that happens, we may have to fight each other. So I'm like, give us that movie. I want to see that fight. That's where I'm at. I want to see that fight. So that's the honorable mentions here. Now let's get on to number 1. Bleach. Oh, come on now. You had to know Bleach was going to be number 1 here. If you know anything about Bleach, here's the deal. So obviously we all know about the story of Bleach and things of that nature. Now, Bleach, the anime, stopped off on the story where Ichigo lost his powers and he had to get them back by dealing with this certain group of humans who also got powers, who are not Soul Reapers, who are not Quincy's rather, who are not Halos. They're like a completely different group, and this is filler. I mean, my bad. This is not filler. This is canon. My bad. The manga continues on, and the manga finishes off with the war between the Soul Reapers and the Quincy's. Now, obviously, there was a spinoff called Bleach Can't Brave Your Own World, which was published recently. But outside of that, like, you know, the manga ended with that storyline where a number of these Soul Reapers died. A number of them. It was crazy. So I'm like, and a number of people has been dying to see that come to anime form. Now, here's the thing, though. They came out with a new mobile game called Bleach Brave Souls. And in that game, Ichigo, the main character of Bleach, he have a Quincy form. So obviously we know he eventually became a Soul Reaper, and then he also got hollow powers, but it was hinted that his mother was a Quincy. So in this game, he got a Quincy form. So now you got basically Soul Reapers, Quincy's, and Hollows. All three normally have beef with each other. And he got Ichigo, who had the powers of all three, based on this mobile game. So I'm like, are we gonna get a new season? Are we gonna get that last season? Or even if is the manga coming back? We don't know. So a lot of questions here, but we gotta stick with the anime. They need to come out with that last season, focusing on the last story in the manga. So yeah, that's my top 10 list of anime shows that should have at least one more season. So yeah, I had to split into 2 parts because it was a long recording originally. So with that said, y'all know who this is. This is your boy, the new Jay Gatsby, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.